Good afternoon, Harris Creek students. We are going to read chapter 7 and 8 today of the Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. I hope you enjoy. It's definitely getting interesting. I can't wait to see what she figures out about the mysterious place where she lives. All right, chapter 7. The next day at lunchtime, I headed to the bathroom again to wash my feet. But this time when I finished, I couldn't bring myself to leave. I thought about the other kids watching me while I ate, and my stomach cramped up painfully like it had the day before. I locked myself in the handicapped stall and sat down. I pulled out my lunch and began eating, careful not to put my bare foot on the floor or drop my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which would pretty much put an end to eating that day. I always ate peanut butter and jelly at school. That's because peanut butter and jelly sticks nicely together. A turkey sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and cheese would be a disaster for me. I'd seen people who couldn't even eat turkey sandwiches with their hands without stuff falling out all over the place. I imagined trying to eat a sandwich like that in the bathroom, everything ending up on the gross floor except a single slice of mayonnaise-y bread I still managed to hold on my toes. I giggled at the thought. As I munched on a carrot, I heard a couple of girls enter the bathroom. They were talking about some cute boy who had looked at one of them. I rolled my eyes and continued crunching on my carrot, hopeful it wasn't as loud to them as it was to me. A ton of boys had looked at me. Heck, boys were looking at me all the time. But I didn't think this was how the boy had looked at this girl. When the bathroom was finally quiet and the girls had obviously left, I packed up my stuff and headed to class. Art went a little better that day. Mr. Jeffries had apparently learned his lesson and didn't make any more pleas for help on my behalf. The day after that, I couldn't bring myself to eat in the bathroom stall again. Besides the fact that it was flat out gross, it was also depressing. Instead, I told myself to stop being such a coward, and I ignored my cramping stomach. I sat in the same secluded spot I had sat reading on my first day, and I ate my lunch, hoping no one would notice me. Some kids did pass by and sneak glances at me, but I tried not to pay any attention to them or to my thumping heart. At one point, a group of 3 girls walked up to me as I took a bite of my string cheese, carefully held between my 2 toes. I dropped it on my napkin, not wanting them to see me eat it like that. I smiled nervously at the girls. Hi, one of the girls said. She had on a cute flowery tank top with spaghetti straps, and once again I felt the sting of being too afraid to wear such a thing. Hi, I said. How are you? I hoped desperately I didn't have any food on my face, because I wasn't about to wipe my mouth with my foot or shoulder. We're good, another girl said. She was also very stylish, dressed in a cute green tank top and jean shorts. How are you? Good, I said, hoping the girls weren't just here out of curiosity. I scolded myself for assuming that it was all that interested them. Maybe they're going to ask me to come sit with them, so I didn't have to eat lunch alone. Is it okay if we ask you what happened to your arms? Flowery tank top girl asked. Yep, curiosity, I sighed. I didn't have the energy to tell them my arms were chopped off in a guillotine or something like that, and these girls seemed far too nervous. I would probably terrify them. Instead, I recited, I have an extremely rare genetic disorder that causes malformation of the limbs. The girls looked alarmed. Is it contagious? Green tank top girl asked. I gazed at the girl, searching her face to see if she was serious. I imagined passing my armlessness on to other people, their fully grown arms shrinking and shriveling and getting sucked up into their shoulders, with a terrible slurping sound if I touched them. I slowly shook my head and spoke carefully so she would understand. No, it's genetic. That means you have to be born with it. The girls' faces all relaxed as flowery tank top girl said, Oh, that's good. It was nice meeting you. I watched them walk away. I looked down at my string cheese. The girls hadn't met me at all. They hadn't even asked my name. No, what they had met were my missing arms. It was all they had seen and all that had interested them. And not just out of curiosity, but because they were afraid. Afraid they could catch it from me. I didn't feel hungry anymore. I packed up the rest of my lunch, stuck it in my bag, and waited for the bell to ring. Harris Creek students, at the end of chapter 7, I am very sad for Avon. I can't imagine living like that. And I don't know if you or someone you know has a disability, but I think this book is a good reminder that we're all still humans, no matter what we look like, we all have feelings. Chapter 8. Behind Stagecoach Pass, at the center of the dirt trail where Billy and Fred lug around an endless stream of screaming children, stands a mountain. It's a tiny mountain. Well, maybe mountain is a little too generous a word for it. It's more of a hill, a mighty hill that desperately wants to be a mountain, but a hill nonetheless. I like to walk down Main Street in the early evening as the air starts to cool and the sky turns colors I've never seen before. I stop for a quick visit with Spaghetti, the poor mutant llama, Spaghetti, who understands how it feels to be ostracized by the other kids. If no one is in the soda shop, Henry might be sitting outside on the front porch in one of the old rocking chairs. He always waves at me and says, "Good evening, little Avon." I pretend to be captivated by something way off in the distance as I pass by Bob at the gold mine, careful not to make eye contact with him. Though a trail winds around the hill, no trail goes up the hill. So I navigate around cactuses that look like ping pong paddles and giant troll doll hair to get to the top, watching the ground for scorpions and rattlesnakes. The soles of my shoes pick up lots of little cactus needles as I walk, and Mom has to dig them out with tweezers when I get home. At the top of the hill stands an enormous saguaro cactus. It's probably as tall as about 10 of me standing one on top of each other. It has 7 impressive arms reaching up to the colorful evening sky. Show off. Dad says the saguaro is likely over 200 years old. He had to Google saguaros to find that out. I like to sit on the hard desert dirt and think of all the things that have happened in the saguaro's life. It stood here when Stagecoach Pass was built 60 years ago, and when Arizona became a state over 100 years ago. It stood here as the Civil War raged on the other side of the country, when women were finally granted the right to vote, and when Martin Luther King Jr. gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. Billions of people have been born and have died in his lifetime. And of course, it stood here on the day I was born and will likely be standing on the day I die. I am an entirely insignificant event in the life of this cactus. I try to remember that as the sky darkens and the lights of Scottsdale and Phoenix brighten the earth. Millions of lights for millions of people. And then there's just me, sitting in the dirt on a mighty hill being circled by a poor old donkey and a tired camel. So after all, did it really matter that the kids at school didn't talk to me? That they probably wished I wasn't there, making them feel uncomfortable? That they were afraid of me? It shouldn't have. I didn't want it to, but it did. Harris Creek students, thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the chapters. As I said, right now I'm a little sad for her. I hope that she's able to find someone that likes her for who she is and that's not just staring at her arms